What if the very ground beneath your feet, maybe not literally, but the facts you hold dear, what if they could be shifted or erased, completely rewritten whenever someone powerful wanted?
Just a terrifying thought.
Imagine a world where your memories aren't really yours and truth is just whatever the people in charge say it is today. It's a concept that's fascinated thinkers for decades.
It truly is. And the question then becomes, how do you even navigate a world like that? How do people survive or think or even, love when reality itself feels like it's constantly under attack?
So today we're doing a deep dive into George Orwell's classic 1984. We've pulled out some key excerpts to really guide us through it. We're exploring the society where surveillance is, well, total. History can change day by day, and even your innermost thoughts aren't safe. Our mission today is to unpack how this whole oppressive system works, look at the characters trying to live within it, and figure out what it all means for, truth and freedom. You'll get the core ideas, the really shocking details, and hopefully a clearer sense of why this story still hits so hard today.
What's so fascinating, I think, is how Orwell builds this world that feels completely alien, but at the same time, disturbingly plausible. It really forces you, the reader, to question what reality even is and how vital individual thought actually is.
Okay, let's get into it. Our journey starts in London, but it's totally transformed. It's called Airstrip 1, now part of the superstate Oceania, and it's just bleak, dreary, falling apart. Orwell describes the smell of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. Clocks strike 13, which is odd in itself.
Yeah, it's immediately a picture of decay, isn't it? Nothing utopian here.
Yeah.
And then you have the image of Big Brother everywhere, this enormous face on posters, the eyes following you about, and that caption.
Big Brother is watching you.
Exactly. It's inescapable.
And it's not just a poster, right? It's a constant, real reminder of the telescreen. This device that can basically listen in whenever they wanted to. You had to live from habit that became instinct in the assumption that every sound you made was overheard and every movement scrutinized.
Just constant surveillance. All the time.
Imagine living like that.
It's hard to grasp what that constant scrutiny does to you psychologically.
Yeah.
Winston Smith, he's our main character. He lives this. He's trying to remember if London was always quite like this, with the rotting 19th century houses, the bomb sites. His own memories of childhood are fuzzy, mostly unintelligible.
Which really drives home how fragile your own history becomes when there's nothing solid to check it against.
Precisely.
And that leads Winston to his first real act of rebellion. He gets this peculiarly beautiful book, lovely, smooth, creamy paper from a frowsy little junk shop.
Which is already breaking the rules because party members aren't supposed to deal on the free market.
Right, but some things, like razor blades apparently, you just can't get any other way. So this book, it becomes his diary.
And just the act of trying to write in it shows how hard independent thought has become.
Yeah.
Winston finds he can't really put down that interminable, restless monologue in his head. He can't even figure out the date, noting it was never possible nowadays to pin down any date within a year or two.
Even time itself is slippery. Now here's where it gets, for me, really interesting. Doublethink. Winston comes across this newspeak word while he's thinking about writing to the future, and he gets the magnitude of it straight away. It feels like the absolute core of how they control reality.
It absolutely is. It's the engine of the whole system. It means holding two contradictory beliefs in your mind at the same time and accepting both. Knowing something is a lie, but believing it anyway.
Consciously choosing to forget, almost.
Exactly. And the party demands it. It's how they can say war is peace and make people, well, not just repeat it, but believe it on some level.
And while he's wrestling with this, Winston's mind keeps returning to two people. There's the dark-haired girl, Julia, though he doesn't know her name yet, who he suspects is thought police because of a sidelong glance.
Pure paranoia fuel, that glance.
Totally. And then there's O'Brien, an inner party member. Winston feels this strange pull towards him, hoping maybe O'Brien isn't perfectly orthodox, maybe he's intelligent in a way that's not just party-approved.
It shows that desperate need for connection, doesn't it? For someone else who might see things the way you do, even if it's just a faint hope.
And that isolation is kind of weaponized in things like the 2 minutes hate, this mandatory ritual.
Oh, yeah, where everyone just screams at the image of Emmanuel Goldstein, the enemy of the people. Orwell describes his lean Jewish face, the fuzzy aureole of white hair, his voice like a sheep bleating out venomous attacks on the party.
And the hate builds until Goldstein's face morphs into an enemy soldier, and then finally into Big Brother's face. Calm, reassuring. followed by those slogans.
War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength.
It's pure emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
Funneling all that frustration and fear towards Goldstein and the current enemy, whoever that might be, and then redirecting it into love for Big Brother.
It reinforces loyalty, absolutely. Right. And it defines the truth. The enemy is whoever the party says they are right now.
And you see the immediate effect. During one hate, Winston finds himself writing, "Down with Big Brother," over and over in his diary. A huge risk.
A massive risk. And then
there's a knock at the door. Terrifying moment. But it's just his neighbor, Mrs. Parsons.
Whose kids are the real terror here, dressed in a uniform of the spies.
Oh, the kids are chilling. They menace Winston with a toy pistol, yelling, "You're a traitor, you're a thought criminal, you're a Eurasian spy." And they're excited about going to see a hanging.
They want to see the hanging. It's horrifying. These tiger cubs, as Orwell calls them, show how the party corrupts even childhood, turning kids into informants against their own parents.
It really drives home how deep the party's reach goes. Into the family, into the most private spaces.
So, connecting this back to truth, Winston's actual job, he works at the Ministry of Truth.
Which is, of course, the Ministry of Lies.
Exactly. His job involves rectifying historical records. So if Big Brother made a prediction about the war that turned out wrong, Winston rewrites the old news reports so the prediction looks correct.
He gives an example with boot production figures. The plan was, say, 145 million pairs, but they only made 62 millions. So Winston's job is to go back and change the original forecast to something lower, maybe 57 million, so it looks like they actually overfulfilled the plan.
It's this concept of the mutability of the past. It's terrifyingly real in the book. The party controls every piece of information, newspapers, books, films, photos. They ensure every prediction made by the party could be shown by documentary evidence to have been correct.
And they hunt down and destroy the old versions. It's constant, minute by minute, bringing the past up to date.
What really gets me here is that it's not just lying. It's destroying the possibility of proving a lie ever existed. All history was a palimpsest, scraped clean and reinscribed exactly as often as was necessary.
Yeah, like writing over an old manuscript. Winston actually finds a real piece of evidence once a photo proving some purged party members existed when the party claimed they didn't. Concrete proof.
But what do?
He destroys it almost immediately. Too dangerous even to possess. It shows how effective the system is. Even when faced with hard evidence, the risk of holding onto it is too great.
It really underscores the powerlessness against that constant rewriting of reality.
Okay, so amidst all this control and manipulation, what's daily life like? Well, it's defined by scarcity. Winston struggles to even find razor blades. Apparently, they're often in famine, along with buttons and shoelaces, little things.
And the food sounds awful. Meals in the canteen are like a metallic-smelling stew, washed down with oily-tasting Victory gin. Everything is low-quality, grim.
Which feels deliberate, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Keep people uncomfortable, focused on basic needs, less energy or inclination for dissent. It breeds this low-level resentment, a feeling of being cheated, but without a clear focus for that anger, except maybe the designated enemies like Goldstein.
Now, one of the really illuminating characters Winston works with is Syme.
Syme. The Newspeak dictionary guy.
Exactly. He's working on the 11th edition, and he explains the real purpose of Newspeak. It's not just about simplifying language. It's designed to make all other modes of thought impossible.
By getting rid of words.
Yes, by eliminating undesirable words entirely and stripping others of any unorthodox meanings. Syme gives the example of the word free. In Newspeak, you can say, "This dog is free from lice." But the concept of being intellectually free or politically free?
The word literally won't exist to express it.
Precisely. You can't think the thought if you don't have the words.
Syme spells it out. Orthodoxy means not thinking, not needing to think. Orthodoxy is unconsciousness. It's a chilling definition.
But Syme himself, even though he's totally loyal, Winston thinks he's too intelligent. He sees things too clearly and speaks too plainly.
And Winston predicts, correctly, that Syme would be vaporized, just disappear. Because the party does not like such people. Intelligence itself is a threat if it's not perfectly controlled.
They even have a word for that kind of mindless conformity. Duck speak.
To quack like a duck. And it can be praise or abuse, depending on who's saying it and who they're saying it about. Perfectly illustrates doublethink again.
And the control reaches into the most personal areas, like sex and relationships. The party actively tries to remove all pleasure from the sexual act.
Yeah, marriage is only encouraged to beget children for the service of the party. Sex is framed as just a duty, a slightly disgusting minor operation. You have groups like the Junior Anti-Sex League pushing celibacy.
It's about destroying private loyalties and redirecting all that energy, all that passion towards the party.
Yeah.
Winston thinks about his ex-wife, Catherine. He describes her as having not a thought in her head that was not a slogan, like a human soundtrack.
Oof, that's bleak.
It shows how they systematically stamp out natural feeling through careful early conditioning, the games, the cold water, the propaganda drilled into kids in the spies and youth league.
But amidst all this party control, there's this other group, the proles. They make up, what, 85% of the population?
Yeah, the vast majority. And the party mostly leaves them alone. They're allowed to live by their own ancestral code, follow their own morals, even practice religion if they want.
There's that party slogan, proles and animals are free. They're just considered beneath suspicion. Too dumb to be a threat, basically.
And Winston pins his hopes on them, but he sees the paradox. Until they become conscious, they will never rebel, and until after they have rebelled, they cannot become conscious. It's a catch-22.
They have this raw humanity, this freedom from the party's ideology, but they're caught up in petty specific grievances, the lottery, arguments, beer, not the larger evils.
They live in pretty rough conditions, drinking sour beer in pubs, but they seem more alive than party members. Winston tries talking to an old prole once, trying to get a sense of what life was like before the revolution.
And what does he find?
Just a rubbish heap of details. The old man can't give him a clear picture. His memory is just fragments, nothing coherent. It shows how well the party has succeeded in erasing the past, even for those outside its direct ideological control.
So the proles are maybe not the immediate hope Winston thought.
Maybe not, but then something does happen. A real glimmer of hope. He gets a note.
The note.
Just 3 words. I love you. And it's from the dark-haired girl, Julia, the one he thought was a spy.
That must have turned his world upside down.
Completely. And they managed to find a place, a room above that junk shop run by Mr. Charrington, the old man who sold him the diary.
It's a place with no telescreen.
Exactly. A little pocket of freedom. Or so they think.
That room becomes their sanctuary, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A pocket of the past. And that glass paperweight Winston bought, the one with the coral inside, it becomes a symbol.
Lives fixed in a sort of eternity at the heart of the crystal. It's quite poetic, actually.
But Julie herself,
Yeah.
she's a different kind of rebel than Winston.
Oh, totally different. She's very practical, not intellectual like him. Her philosophy is basically if you kept the small rules, you could break the big ones.
She works in pornosec, right? Writing cheap porn for the proles.
Yep. She knows the news is lies. She says one knows the news is all lies anyway. But she doesn't really care why the party does what it does. Winston calls her only a rebel from the waist downwards.
Which sounds dismissive, but maybe it's more complex. For Julia, the rebellion is personal. It is physical. She says, when you make love, you're using up energy. And afterwards, you feel happy and don't give a damn for anything. They can't bear you to feel like that.
So their affair, their physical relationship, is inherently political for her. It's a blow struck against the party because the party wants all that energy channeled into fear, hatred, and lunatic credulity.
It's a fascinating contrast.
Yeah.
Winston wants to understand the system, to fight it intellectually. Julie just wants to live, to carve out personal happiness despite the system.
But those differences show up, don't they? Like when the party suddenly switches enemies mid-war, Julia just shrugs. Who cares? It's always one bloody war after another.
While Winston is horrified by the implications, the rewriting of reality happening in real time.
He tries to explain to her how the past has been actually abolished, and she's just like, I'm not interested in the next generation, dear. I'm interested in us.
It shows how the party's worldview works on people who don't engage with it critically. Julia's lack of understanding, as Orwell puts it, kind of keeps her sane in a way Winston isn't. The lies don't leave that residue behind for her.
But that sanctuary, it can't last, can it?
No. The inevitable happens. Their time in the room comes to a brutal end.
That scene is so chilling. They're lying there. Winston says, we are the dead, acknowledging their fate. And then
An iron voice speaks from behind the picture on the wall, echoing him. You are the dead.
And Mr. Charrington, the frail old junk shop owner, he walks in, completely transformed, no longer stooped, looking alert. He's thought police.
The ultimate betrayal of their safe space. And the glass paperweight, their symbol.
Smashed to pieces on the floor. The end of their little world.
It's the absolute crushing of their personal rebellion, proof that nowhere is safe. And you hear sounds from outside, a long rolling clang and a yell of pain, suggesting the parole woman who is always singing outside is taken to total control.
Winston ends up in the Ministry of Love, which, of course, is the Ministry of Pain and Torture.
The place you supposedly never escape from alive or unchanged.
And here he really sees the brutal reality of the party's control. He even runs into Parsons, his neighbor.
You enthusiastic, rather dense party man, what's he doing there?
Thought crime. His own 7-year-old daughter denounced him for saying "down with Big Brother" in his sleep. And Parsons is almost proud of her. He says tearfully, the party would not arrest an innocent man.
Wow. The indoctrination is complete. He accepts his guilt, even for something unconscious.
It shows the psychological mastery. And the torture Winston endures isn't just physical, though there's plenty of that. Steel rods, boots. It's mental, designed to destroy his power of arguing and reasoning.
They break him down piece by piece. The party intellectuals scream abuse. They threaten him. Then they suddenly switch tactics, call him comrade, try to appeal to his supposed loyalty. It's relentless psychological warfare.
And the goal isn't just obedience, not negative obedience. O'Brien tells him this. The goal is to capture his inner mind, to reshape him, to make him one of ourselves before we kill him. They want conversion, not just submission.
And the ultimate twist. His torturer-in-chief is O'Brien.
The very man Winston pinned his hopes on, O'Brien orchestrated everything.
And O'Brien is brutally honest about the party's motives, isn't he?
Shockingly so. He flat out tells Winston, the party seeks power for its own sake. Pure power. The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power.
No pretense about the greater good or some future paradise like old dictatorships. O'Brien says the party is different because we know what we are doing. They aren't hypocrites. They want the dictatorship forever.
It's power as an end in itself. And O'Brien explains how they maintain it. He tells Winston, reality exists in the human mind and nowhere else. Whatever the party holds to be the truth is truth.
And he demonstrates it, holding up 4 fingers, torturing Winston until he sees 5, because only the disciplined mind can see reality. Reality is whatever the party dictates.
Which is reality control, which is doublethink in its final terrifying form.
Exactly. O'Brien defines doublethink again. The power of holding 2 contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accepting both of them. It's conscious deception while retaining the firmness of purpose that goes with complete honesty. You know it's cheating, but you do it with total conviction.
And the paradox he points out. The people who invented doublethink, who understand it best, are the most deluded. The greater the understanding, the greater the delusion. The more intelligent, the less sane.
It's a mind-bending concept. It destroys the very foundation of rational thought.
O'Brien tells Winston he's the last man. His kind is extinct. He's outside history, non-existent. He even plays back a recording of Winston promising to do terrible things if required by the Brotherhood.
Stripping away any sense of moral superiority Winston might have clung to, and the physical destruction mirrors the mental breakdown. Winston sees himself in a mirror, emaciated, broken teeth, his body literally rotting away.
But there's one final step. Room 101.
Room 101, the place containing the worst thing in the world, which is different for everyone.
For Winston, it's rats. O'Brien brings in a cage, starving rats ready to be unleashed on Winston's face.
The ultimate fear, the breaking point.
And Winston breaks completely. He screams, "Do it to Julia! Do it to Julia! Not me, Julia!" He betrays the one person he loved, the one loyalty he thought he had left.
And that's the party's final victory. They've broken not just his resistance to them, but his connection to another human being. Love, loyalty, gone. Later, when he and Julia meet again, briefly, in the outside world.
It's such a sad, empty meeting. They both admit, I betrayed you.
And Julia explains it perfectly. You want it to happen to the other person. You don't give a damn what they suffer. All you care about is yourself. And after that, you don't feel the same towards the other person any longer. The capacity for love itself is destroyed.
So Winston is released. Broken, remade. He gets a meaningless job, spends his days in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, drinking gin, playing chess.
Where white always mates. No more struggle, no more uncertainty.
He's won the victory over himself.
He looks different too, doesn't he? Fatter, face redder, the physical marks of his final conformity.
And the book ends with that absolutely chilling final paragraph. He's looking up at the poster of Big Brother. 40 years it had taken him to learn what kind of smile was hidden beneath the dark mustache. Oh, cruel, needless misunderstanding. Oh, stubborn, self-willed exile from the loving breast.
He's seeing his past resistance as just foolishness.
2 gin-scented tears trickled down the sides of his nose. But it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother.
Chilling. The complete annihilation of the individual spirit.
What a journey into this world where, yeah, truth is just manufactured, history's a weapon, and being an individual is basically the worst crime you can commit. Winston's fight to hold on to some kind of objective reality against that absolute power. It's such a powerful story about how fragile truth and memory really are.
This deep dive really brings out how control works, doesn't it? Not just with force, but by twisting language, twisting thought itself, it can actually reshape how people see the world. The party didn't just want obedience, they wanted people to genuinely believe that slavery was freedom.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? In our world today, with so much information flying around, how do you figure out what's real? Where's the line between a verified fact and just a story someone wants you to believe? Does this idea of the mutability of the past, or even doublethink, echo in how we consume news and information now?
Yeah, what does it really mean to know something when you're swimming in this sea of data, and so much of it contradicts itself or is maybe even designed to mislead?
And if Orwell was right, if sanity is not statistical, meaning just because lots of people believe something doesn't make it true, what responsibility do we have as individuals to hold on to our own grasp of reality?
Especially when powerful narratives are always competing for our attention, for our belief.
Definitely something to mull over as you navigate your own sources, your own information landscape.